The city has a broad wide view, so too narrow it to bring to you. We brought in Maddy Skyeline. We brought in Maddy Skyeline.
It is Wednesday afternoon. That means it's time for Maddy Skye here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. And she's also on our Facebook Live feed. So you got to do your hair and your makeup at least once a week, right?
Yeah, this is probably the only time it gets done during the week. I mean, I put on a little makeup for the gym, just that way I don't scare people. But you got the eyelashes. My hair isn't really done. This is kind of all natural. But
all right. Well, I mean, it looks done to me, but I think the headline there is so you're going back to the gym.
Yeah, I actually started going in the morning, which I thought I would never do. I thought only crazy people went during the morning, but I've noticed a big improvement in my day from starting the day off right with a little cardio, and now I have like the whole afternoon to myself. I don't have to think about, I have to go to the gym later and eat and drink my protein shake. So yeah, back in the gym. I will tell you though that it is a huge difference because last year I was very committed and I was on the workout train, and I got off because I had an ankle injury that you remember, and I haven't gone back since. So God, it's kind of overwhelming to see like how far I've fallen behind.
Well, it's hard to get back into it, but you are absolutely right. I mean, when you wake up before the sun comes up and you can get 5 miles in, some push-ups, a good healthy breakfast. I wouldn't know what any of that's like personally, but I hear that makes your day a whole lot better when you actually do that.
Well, I'm definitely not doing 5 miles, but at least a mile.
Maddy, what's the chandelier behind you? This looks elaborate.
That's my mom. It's her. It's to
is it like wine glasses?
Wine glasses. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Not a
elaborate.
Chandelier. It's Maddy Skye. It's all wine.
It could be
wine
a
glasses.
chandelier. It's a dual purpose thing.
It's a wine chandelier.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. So last week, I believe it was last week, you were not on with us. You were out covering some of the protests. What have your experiences been like, especially for you? I know you don't have to go to the office right now, but working downtown and being so connected with everything that's going on downtown.
I went on Wednesday, which I guess was the 4th day of protest, and protest started Saturday. And by that time, I feel like SCPD had a organized plan about how they were going to kind of guide the protesters through the city. They had a lot of the streets blocked off, so that way they could safely, take to the streets and do the marching and chanting. But it was weird seeing downtown San Antonio in that, it was weird actually just walking through the streets with the protesters through streets that usually, there's cars bustling back and forth. But from what I experienced, it was super peaceful. It actually, any attempts to kind of agitate the crowd were quickly de-escalated, and people were asked to leave if they were acting in that way. So I was there from about 2 o'clock till I think about 10 o'clock that day, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it was at one point the protesters joined a group of church members that were already in Travis Park, and that was like a really peaceful interaction. I saw a couple of hugs, and but like I said, the protests have been happening since Saturday. And as far as I know, there was one last night as well.
Maddy,
so
what was the most commonly, as far as you're digging and researching, commonly used method or platform of communication? Was it really just people just showed up and tried to find other people? I mean, or were they, gathering together like on Facebook? I mean, how was all this being organized?
Yeah, I've seen a lot on Facebook. I think now there are Facebook event groups that people are using. I think there have been a few groups that have really emerged in all of this that people look to, that people who have been protesting kind of keep up with on social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. But Facebook and Twitter are definitely the two platforms that I'm seeing being used the most. Not so much Instagram. I could be wrong. But definitely Facebook and Instagram, because you can search those pretty easily. You can search San Antonio protests on either form, which you can't really do on Instagram unless there's a designated hashtag. So, but I have seen plenty on those two throughout the past, I guess, 2 weeks now.
Maddy Skye from the San Antonio Express News and MySA.com with us here as she is every Wednesday afternoon on ESPN San Antonio. Saw you retweeted this, and I know they've been here before, and I wanted to talk about it at some point today when I saw the news last night. Cops, the TV show Cops, has been on television for 33 years. They are canceling it.
Right. I read the story, and I think at first it was a response, of course, to some of the police brutality that may or may have not been shown on the seasons. And I think now, I think it was Paramount. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I think Paramount had decided just to cancel it altogether. And like you said, Cops have been here in San Antonio. And I think one of the latest instances was the case where it was like a high-speed chase, or a chase that ended up like on the highway, and it just so happened the cops' cameras were rolling and caught it all. There was some type of, I actually don't remember, I think it was last year sometime, but there was a question of, were the cameras for cops rolling when all this happened? It was a big event that happened on, I think it was on 35 North. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, with I remember that, the chase, because it was over by the radio station, backed up traffic for hours and hours and hours, and then some of it was filmed, and some of the film happened to get lost. Which you know how that works at times, and it's not a show that I regularly watched. I remember watching it some as a kid. I remember one time when they were in Albuquerque, my cousin actually got to make an appearance on the show Cops. Not the proudest moment for the family, but it was certainly there, but I was surprised to see that it had been on for 33 years. They've been making that thing. I think it's one of those things that you don't really think about, because I, like you said, I remember watching it as a kid, and the bad boys, but it's kind of just like something that you see come on and you just assume they're all reruns. I think that was some of the reaction to when I retweeted it. Somebody was like, that's still on, but they still were filming. And it weren't, I think we all just assumed that it was a rerun type of thing, but nope, 33 years.
Maddy, Jason mentioned watching Cops when he was a kid. I don't know if you've seen this today. I just saw this on the timeline right now, so I'm glad you're here. Apparently, people are upset about an episode of Paw Patrol, which is a children's program, obviously, because of the way one of the characters that is a cop, I guess, in the show is portrayed. And apparently people have a problem with the status of the police officer in the show. What's the most far-reaching, maybe it's Paw Patrol, but what's the most far-reaching thing you've seen, whether it was the show Cops? I mean, where have you seen this have ripple effects throughout pop culture, so to speak?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I definitely wasn't
tough questions.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't aware of the Paw Patrol situation, but I have seen very mixed reactions to brands, even like our beloved Whataburger. Whataburger released a statement today about police brutality, social injustices, and not everybody was happy about it. And that's one of those things that you kind of just assume everybody can be on the same page with Whataburger, and they weren't. I mean, a lot of people were, but then a lot of people weren't. I think right now is a time that I think everything is being watched under a close eye. And but yeah, did not know about Paw Patrol. My furthest knowledge about Paw Patrol is it's something that my nephew liked a couple years ago. But that's interesting. Definitely haven't seen that one.
I can't tell you anything about Paw Patrol. Thank goodness. Now you go back to when Erica was little, and it was Blue's Clues. Barney. Yeah, no, we missed Barney. Thank God we missed Barney.
I was a Barney kid. I was all about Barney. But yeah, I think I bought a couple of toys that were Paw Patrol themed, and that was my extent of that knowledge. Just the brother and sister-in-law tell me what to buy, and I go get it from Target and get it in a gift bag, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, as I look on your timeline, as we visit with Maddy Skye from the Express News, good news in Bombay Bicycle Club. They're opening a second location, and I love. I mean, obviously they're opening. I've seen like Papa's Burgers is opening another place. Smash and Crab is opening in another state.
Wow.
I love it with so many businesses seemingly closing, and we're seeing all the stories about those that are closing for good. I love seeing that good local businesses are able to not only thrive but expand.
Yeah, I also what I thought was interesting about the Hemisphere growth is that there have been a couple of new additions. Like we just wrote about, I think 2 weeks ago, Lick was opening its second location at Hemisphere. So now, come spring 2021, once Bombay opens, there'll be like Bombay, Lick, Energy X Fitness, the Palmer Complex. It's kind of like a mini Pearl feel, I guess.
What is Lick?
Lick is an ice cream company, an ice cream shop.
Good.
Yeah, it's an honest brand. I think it's like vegan. I'm not sure, but pretty good. It's really popular at the Pearl, and now there's going to be a downtown extension of it, Hemisphere extension. So, and I have a couple more stories coming today. I just haven't tweeted them because I've been so busy, but wrote about a variety of things coming down the tunnel.
Like
there's going to be free parking. Free parking downtown is now a thing from June to August, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. throughout the week, and then all day Saturday and Sunday. City said it's a support to support the local businesses or downtown businesses recovering. You know, they've gone through coronavirus pandemic shutdowns and then the curfew that was put in place. So they've kind of had to roll the punches lately. So I guess it's just a way of having more people get out there and not have to worry about parking problems. I think parking was previously free after 6 at parking meters, but this includes meters and garages and lots.
Well, so. and I know last year they were doing like free parking in the city garages on Tuesdays.
Downtown Tuesday. That's good.
And what I do love is the city recognizing that one of the things that keeps a lot of us from going downtown on a regular is, you know, if we're going down to see a show at the Majestic, obviously, you know, you might go down early and grab dinner on the Riverwalk or somewhere down there. But on a normal weeknight or weekend, paying to park, going down there and paying anywhere from $12 to $25 to park at some of the garages is a deterrent to go.
Right.
But those Riverwalk businesses, especially those restaurants, with tourism being what it is right now and the lack of conventions that are going on, that this is a way to help those businesses survive. Now, you know, and I'm glad the city is doing that because, you know, I don't know what the convention business is going to be like, but I haven't heard that a whole bunch are coming to San Antonio. And I do know that the Texas High School Coaches Association, which generally brings in about 20,000 coaches every year, that's still up in the air if that's going to happen or if it's going to go virtual. But, you know, the city needs those kinds of events here in San Antonio. You think about the millions we've spent on the convention center. We have to have conventions, but for those restaurants down there, you got to have people. And if the tourists and the convention types aren't coming, I'm glad the city is at least doing that to try to encourage people to go downtown.
Right. And you think about all the other stuff that isn't necessarily conventions, but like, let's say people go to the games that for UTSA at the Alamo Dome. We don't know how those are going to be affected or if they're going to be affected, but any event that happens at like the Alamo, which is kind of basically adjacent to the core of downtown, if people go to that, they usually go get dinner before, or if it's a football game, they'll go get drinks before, or if it's something happening at 13th floor, you know, they'll go hang out downtown before or after. And all of this kind of just really is a heavy, heavy burden on them.
Absolutely. Well, Maddy Skye, always appreciate it every Wednesday. Glad you're back in the gym. Does that also mean you've been to some bars and some restaurants?
Yeah, I have. I don't remember what the last one I went to was, but I definitely have. I'm trying to think where I ate out last. I usually go somewhere. Oh, I went to Snooze at the Quarry, ate outside. They had really cool, like, no contact paying methods. They basically give you like a little iPad and you do all the paying yourself, kind of like a Chili's type situation, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, Snooze, very good. My first time at Snooze.
Well, and I've been to a couple places where the menu is on the QR reader. And
yeah, my phone for some reason doesn't work with that.
Well, you know what? I downloaded a QR reader app, and then I realized apparently your camera on your iPhone is also a QR reader if you are smart enough to figure out how to use it, which RJ, I did.
Well done.
Maddy did not, apparently. Yours doesn't work.
I can't figure it out. Yeah, I think it's my phone. I don't think it's me.
Yeah, blame the file. That's what I was. It's always the technology, man. Just restart it. It will work again. It will work. Maddy, appreciate it.
Blow on the receiver. Thank you.
That's it. Appreciate it. Maddy Skye from the San Antonio Express News as he joins us every Wednesday.